Brendan Martin of
Sorry for
California.
the delay. It's my computer issue.
Yeah, look. I'm
Don't
gonna tell you one thing.
update before you do a live show, everyone. Just
Every
worth
now and
the
then those
delay.
will happen. You'll wake up and it went on during the night. You didn't know it. But got a great show today. Wil Gunter, Gamecock Country, 107.5 The Game over in Columbia, South Carolina, checks in. Following up with Jake Wimberly, the afternoon drive down in Jackson, Mississippi. A lot of numbers, a lot of graphs, a lot of charts. Makes sense out of it. Then we got Dudley Dawson inside Arkansas and Vince Ferrara, the Sports Animal 99.1 in Knoxville. And so we'll cover a lot of ground, 16 teams in the SEC. We're going to talk about every one of them today. Do us a favor. Take a picture with your phone of the QR code. We are live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, like 8 channels simultaneously. Share the show, like us. You have no idea how important that is. Like us, follow us.
It's free.
Yeah, it's free. We're providing
What's
this
free
content
anymore?
for you.
It's free.
Nothing's free except bad advice. And we're giving you great guidance, and we're truth brokers. First Amendment.
Sometimes we don't give you great advice, but we'll give you the truth so you can do what you want with it.
Yeah, and like I heard this morning, Billy's really good at turning it around. Well, I guess you just throw the first 4 or 5 games of the season before you get come on. A lot to talk about today. Let's get started with Wil Gunter over in Columbia. Wil, glad to see you back, doing well. Look, South Carolina, the season still alive. We know mathematically, I don't know if it's going to happen, but you're going to Baton Rouge Saturday. That game against LSU last year, that was a tough one. South Carolina was on top of the world, and then they weren't. So what's the mindset of the team going in, and what are they shooting for the rest of the season? What are their goals?
Well, I mean, all their goals are still technically in front of them. There's 2 losses, and 2 losses can still get you into the SEC championship, I guess. I don't, the way the league is now, who knows how those tiebreakers would work out. But 2 losses would, if you only had 2, probably get you into the playoff. That's good. And obviously they can still beat Clemson. So all the goals are still there, but obviously the way they have played does not suggest a team that's about to go on a run here of reeling off 7 straight victories to get to 10-2. But we'll see this weekend. You get a challenge. You get one of, I think, the most talented teams in the country down in Baton Rouge, and it's going to be there. And it's teams, guys, with their backs against the wall. It's kind of a win or leave town kind of game. I know LSU's only got 1 loss, but we know what the rest of their schedule's like. And there was a lot of people, I think, who had this game circled and thought both teams should be undefeated, that Garrett Nussmeier and Lenora Sellers, this would be a Heisman showdown. Game day would be there. There'd be all this pomp and circumstances, a top 10, top 8 showdown, and it's not. So I think there's a little bit of disappointment here in Columbia, but now there's kind of an interest of, okay, what is South Carolina going to look like coming off of the bye week? Will they start to turn a corner and look like the team that everybody thought they would be, that was a preseason top 13 team and kind of a dark horse candidate to get to the playoffs?
Well, you look at it, 3 of the top 4 teams in the preseason rankings, number 1 Clemson, number 2 Penn State, number 4 Clemson, aren't even ranked anymore. And you're right. This season is as wide open as I can remember. I mean, LSU, South Carolina, maybe the first team to 24 wins. It's LSU doesn't have any offense, and can South Carolina? Neither one of them can really run the ball that well. Who's got the more mobile quarterback? That's advantage to South Carolina.
Yeah, no, it is, but I think LSU right now being down there. Also, I think LSU being more aggressive on defense with how they like to play. We'll see. South Carolina's defense has played better this year. I mean, they were young. They lose 5 draft picks, 5 pretty high-end draft picks to the NFL last year. And that didn't count a few other key contributors in there, 2 in particular defensive linemen. So I mean, they really lost 7 guys out of that front, out of that group, and they've grown. They missed a lot of tackles against Missouri, missed a lot against Vanderbilt, but the defense kind of kept them in the game. They wore down. They've had 1 bad half, and that was against Vanderbilt. But for a group that I knew kind of had to be carried by the offense, I think they've been fine, and I think they're going to take steps forward. but can they go down, and you just mentioned it, can they kind of match what I think LSU is going to be able to do to South Carolina defensively against offense?
How do you attack Garrett Nussmeier? I mean, he's 6-4 as a starter at LSU in SEC games, 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. That's not a Heisman resume.
No, I mean, listen, South Carolina's going to get Judge Collier back in the secondary, their best cornerback, potential second day draft pick, and he's been out really since very early in the Virginia Tech game. Jalen Kilgore should be 100% healthy. He's been playing, but he hasn't been healthy and has been kind of limited in how much he can get on the field. So your secondary, which was considered the strength of the team, should for the first time since within the first 5 minutes of the Virginia Tech game be back and be whole and ready to go. So you're asking, as you kind of pointed out, you're asking your front seven to stop the run game, to limit what LSU does and make them one dimensional, and then allow your back five back there. That was 12 guys I just rattled off, so I guess it'd be front six for South Carolina and back five. But you're asking your front six, get in there and stop the run. Let's make this guy one dimensional. And then South Carolina's 14th in the nation in sacks. They've got 13. Dylan Stewart's, we all look around here think Dylan Stewart's kind of having a sophomore slump, but he's tied for the lead in sacks with 3. He's being double teamed, triple teamed. He's being chipped, and they're focusing on him. So he's actually not playing all that bad. So I go back, turn them one dimensional, much like LSU's going to want to do to South Carolina. And then when that happens, unleash the hounds and go get the quarterback.
Well, going into game 6 a year ago, going into game 6 today, compare.
I've said this on the radio, but I haven't done the number that you just did, 6. So the last 4 years, this is year 5 of Shane Beamer. The last 4 years, this is about the time that Shane Beamer's teams kind of turn a corner. All of a sudden, they become more physical. They play a different style of ball. Even they lost to Florida 2 years ago here in Columbia, 41-39, but they played their best football game. I really should have won that game. Just absolutely blew it in that game. They're 3-2 off of bye weeks under Shane Beamer, and one of those is that loss to Florida that I just mentioned. And I want to say, now that you say that out loud, I want to say that last year game 6 was Alabama. Yeah, it was. They went 3-3. I guess I didn't. So you say you put it in game 6 terms. I put it in this is the time. And they went to Alabama, and I was there in Tuscaloosa, and they played much better. They didn't get the win that day, but the offensive line kind of stepped up. Defensively, they started to play better. And I think we all chalked it up to, well, Alabama's not Alabama. But the fact is that South Carolina on that particular day turned a corner a little bit, gave themselves every opportunity to win. They didn't win, but then it was the next week that they went to Oklahoma and absolutely throttled the Sooners very early in that game. So this is about the time of the season, for whatever reason, the last 4 years, Shane Beamer's team kind of turn a corner.
And they're not the only team like that. I mean, look at Florida. It's the same thing. All right, Lenoris Sellers as a passer versus Garrett Nussmeier as a pure passer. And look, LSU's offensive line were supposed to be so great. Their offense is not productive. Who do you give the edge to here?
Well, I mean, if you're just going polished, pure passer, it's Garrett Nussmeier. But certainly, Lenoris Sellers has the arm that quarterbacks and coaches dream about having. He can throw it. He's just got to continue to be refined with his footwork and continue to not kind of panic when he's in the huddle. Yeah. You're right. Both quarterbacks this year have been under a lot of duress. Lenoris Sellers is more well known for being able to escape and make magic happen with his legs. But yeah, I mean, Garrett Nussmeier is the better pure passer, if you want. The way you describe it is the better former NFL quarterback there to sit in the pocket and throw. But Lenoris Sellers is still learning. I mean, he's still a lump of clay that they're trying to mold into this big time quarterback. And you've seen flashes of it in the passing. I mean, he's 4 touchdowns on the season, 1 interception. He's completing 67% of his passes. It's not like he's inaccurate and he's throwing it all over the building, but he's still got a little ways to go.
Well, in the age that we're in right now with the portal and NIL, really the portal, you're tough on a kid. He goes and hits the portal button, or he tells you he's going in the portal. Guys aren't sticking around. So you've got to play that hot shot 5-star freshman that you've sunk a lot of NIL money into. And then wait until some big corporate sponsor that's funding NIL for the star quarterback that was a stud out of high school suddenly is benched. And then they say, I guess we're not going to pay you anymore. We're heading down that road. But I think that's why you're throwing all these quarterbacks in there and expecting them to be, a seasoned veteran with only 8 or 10 starts. It's a different world. All right, running game, South Carolina. Can they find one? Because LSU doesn't have one.
No, I got to be blunt. No, I'd be shocked if they go in there and run the football. Number one, Rasul Faison, the transfer. I think it was the number 2 transfer in the part. He's just not kind of lived up to what he I mean, granted, listen, there's a lot that goes into it. The offensive line hasn't particularly done the best job. The tight ends haven't blocked the best. But Rasul Faison himself, even when he's had some holes, has missed the opportunity for some big runs or to pick up 5 or 6 yards. He's got to be better. They're going to probably have the second punch this weekend is going to be Matthew Fuller, a redshirt freshman out of Georgia, who was not really a highly rated recruit, but had a really good high school career. I think it was a borderline 4-star recruit. They gave him 19 carries. A lot of those coming on the final drive against Kentucky when they just lined up and ran the ball. But they're going to try and do that. Now, what do they do on the offensive line? Have they made any adjustments? It doesn't sound like it. And tonight we get the injury report to see if there's any Kason Henry, Nolan Hay, if anybody's still in that injury report. Shane Beamer's really gone North Korea on us with injuries. We only get these injury reports now on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Yeah.
But that's look. Can they make? They're not going to all of a sudden come out and be running for 250 yards, 200 yards a game. But can they make small adjustments to at least make it a threat where you have to honor the run game and open up the pass game?
Look, I've seen this happen in the last 30 years many times. Teams can't run the ball, but if you got a mobile quarterback, that becomes your running game. But it'll only go so far. So you look at this gauntlet going ahead for South Carolina. You've got LSU and Baton Rouge Saturday, and then you've got Oklahoma and Alabama coming to Columbia. Logo fever, whatever you want to call it, there's nowhere to hide in the SEC. The league this year, how do you rank it? 1 through 16 compared to last year? And say the other leagues around the country, the Big Ten comes to mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a dominant team in the SEC. I don't know if there's a national championship team. It's kind of interesting now. Maybe there is. Mississippi, Alabama obviously has now risen to the challenge.
Yeah.
We're writing off Georgia because they lost one game at home by 3 points to Alabama, who I just mentioned as a national championship team. I don't know if it is the Oregon win over Penn State. I don't say what you will about Penn State, but I don't know if that win looks more high profile. I don't know if it's because Ohio State is the defending national champion, so we do this odd bias thing, and we just go, well, they're the best 2 teams in the country. I'm not real sure how that works. Listen, it's the SEC in the Big Ten, and quite frankly, both conferences now. You're seeing what money does. You're seeing what competition does. The SEC, I probably 1 to 16 is as deep and as hard as it's ever been. You just mentioned it. I mean, Kentucky. Yeah, I think they're definitely going to be 16. Who knows how Arkansas? Boy, oh boy, Arkansas and Tennessee on Saturday night. Bobby Petrino rides again.
Yeah.
But let's see what Arkansas is, and then like you mentioned, kind of with Florida. I don't know. South Carolina might not be very good. LSU might not. But I think the league 1 through 16 is as competitive as it's ever been.
And I think Ohio State is the best team. And I'll put Oregon up there, but Penn State. Look at Sarkisian. What is he? 2-8 against top 10 teams at Texas and 5-18 against them overall as a coach. When are we going to start having the conversation, Steve Sarkisian and James Franklin?
Yeah, I brought that up on the radio show yesterday. I mentioned that. I mean, look, how many high quality? I'd want to look not to defend Steve Sarkisian, but if you were to go through and look at how many high quality top 20, look at Lane Kiffin. I mean, look at Lane Kiffin's record against top 10, top 25 opponents.
It's not good.
Not everybody's Kirby Smart and Ryan Day, and now that we've moved Nick Saban on out out of the barn here. But these guys, look, winning football is tough. Winning football is tough. But you're right. We'll see. That program is going to be interesting to see down there. You just mentioned Logo Fever, and Oklahoma will be here next week. I don't know if I'm buying into Oklahoma. I'm really interested to see if John Mateer is indeed going to try and play this week. And then if he does, how that looks. It feels like this is the week that Texas, we're all writing them off. We're doing what you just said, kind of like we did with Florida and Billy Napier last week. And then all of a sudden they bounce back and get a victory that none of us expect them to have. Oklahoma's favored in that game, I believe, there in Dallas. But yeah, and that's what makes the league fun. And quite honestly, this year, that's what has made college football a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm not writing Texas off. I'm just pointing out you have everything financially, money you want for nothing. You can go get any player. Nobody can beat your offers. I mean, how many Lamborghinis? It's 8 or 9 NIL deals that are off the charts, but the product on the field, Arch, he's started 6 games now, 7 games, and everybody, he may be a heck of a quarterback, but I mean, this league is unforgiving. And Jake Wimberly should be joining us here just a moment. He's here, and I'm going to bring him in, Will. And Jake Wimberly, ESPN 105.9, The Afternoon Drive in Jackson, Mississippi, talking with Wil Gunter over in Columbia. And Jake, we're just talking about South Carolina, LSU Saturday. You cover all the schools in Mississippi. We got some battles, and we'll keep you just a couple of minutes. And I just want to ask you, Jake, your thoughts on this South Carolina LSU game Saturday, and which team do you think is going to win?
Doesn't have the luster we thought it was going to have. I mean, these are two good football teams. There, LSU I think had national championship aspirations with the roster they had built. Yeah. South Carolina had college football playoff aspirations. Looking at these two teams, I mean, right now, I mean, it is a coin flip. I mean, between these two teams. And again, I know Will can speak on this way more intelligently than me because he's there. What's the health situation in South Carolina? I think this will be a fun game. This will be a 4-quarter game. If I was picking this one, and I have not picked this one yet, I'd probably lean LSU just a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised to see South Carolina win the football game. I think it's going to be a very even football game. Yeah.
Will, parting words of wisdom and let people know how they can follow you.
Yeah, real quick. I think that I feel like I've seen this script both against the South Carolina and for LSU before. A lot of people, no offense, Jake, you look at the Vegas spread, it's 10.5. A lot of people are saying the same thing. Hey, LSU probably wins a close one. Well, I've seen this before where LSU comes out and South Carolina comes out and South Carolina lays an egg and it's 31-10 and LSU or somebody wins by 3 touchdowns. I kind of feel like that's more likely to happen on Saturday night. LSU's due. Somebody's going to catch LSU at the wrong time and LSU's going to have a breakout game.
Yeah.
There's too much talent there. Now, they may not sustain it for 12 games, but LSU's due for a breakout game. And unfortunately, now I'm getting into my PTSD as a South Carolina fan, where I've seen this plenty of times. The last time South Carolina was there, last time we were saying the same things during the COVID year because the one and only still in college, TJ Finley was making his first start for LSU.
Wow. Still in college.
Still and LSU won 52-24 in that ball game. And we were saying, boy, South Carolina was coming off a win over Auburn under Will Muschamp. But we'll see what happens. You are right. I think Jake hit it on the head. As I said, it's a game that we thought would have game day, would have playoff implications, would have Heisman implications. And it could. It still is. Listen, these two teams, they're not out of it. But certainly it'll be very interesting to see what happens in Baton Rouge on Saturday night. And I appreciate it. And, we are on 12 to 3 each and every day. Just download the app. Go to 1075thegame.com on your internet or go to your app store and download the 1075 The Game app. You can listen to us wherever. You can listen to us in Texas and California. You can listen to us in Germany or in South Africa. Wherever you're at, you can listen and join us each and every day.
Hey, that is Eastern time, folks. Stay tuned. Yeah. And look, your Twitter handle?
At Wil, like it says there, 1L, Wil Gunter, Gunter. Y'all take care.
All right, we'll see you next week. Jake, looking around, Mississippi State went out to College Station last weekend. And I was getting some text, a lot of fans from different schools I know. And an A&M fan was like, what is the problem with this team? Of course, they won 31-9. Mississippi State had a couple hundred yards of offense. I personally don't like you having your first 4 or 5 straight all at home. I think it's great to get out of there just for a change of scenery. What were your takeaways from this, and what do you see happening with Mississippi State? Because they went blow for blow with Tennessee, not so strong against A&M on the road, of course.
History will show you that when you're a team like Mississippi State, and look, you can put this to the test with any team in any conference, especially the Southeastern Conference. When you have a team that is of lesser talent, Mississippi State they have a lesser talented roster than Tennessee, but they played extremely well, extremely hard, took them to overtime. When you have to turn around and play again a team that is more talented than you, week in and week out, it starts to wear. There's a mental grind, there's a physical grind, and look, Texas A&M was just a better team on the offensive front. Those 5 starters that returned, that run game, they leaned on Mississippi State. It took them a while to get it going. That's just a better team. And, I felt like Mississippi State not necessarily got out-coached. I just felt like they got outplayed. Having said that, I still think this is a much improved football team. Where do they go from here? They got to find 2 wins, right? I mean, you want to cap this year with a bowl of some kind. And I know we don't put nearly as much love and wrap arms around bowls like we used to. I mean, I still think there's something to it. I think there's something to the extra practice for those that are going to be back. I think there's something to success and recruiting and such that. So, I think they got to find 2 wins. I think there could be 2 wins on the schedule left. I think Arkansas could be in play, depending on how which Florida team wakes up.
Yeah.
Brendan, you may want to chime in on this, but I think depending on the Florida team, they could be in that ball game. I think Missouri may be in play. Ole Miss, they've got to go find two wins down the stretch. But I think regardless, this is a much improved football team.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I mean, you want me to have confidence and what did you say? I'm kidding. Like, I'm joking.
Oh, you speak Texas.
I just
therapy.
Hey, you know what? Okay, now that you're here, and screw this. I've had enough of just Dudley's, and we're all in. All right, look. Hi, Dudley.
Hello.
All right, well, good to see you. All right, look. So explain to me. I'm being dumb. It's fine, but explain to me the rule. The 10-second runoff at the end of the game, helmet comes on. Texas denies the 10-second runoff, and then the clock stops, right? The game clock stops until the next snap. Is that the correct rule, or is the game clock run? Can someone explain that?
My understanding is the game clock runs after you put the ball back down. If you don't take the 10-second runoff.
That's what it doesn't or does?
It
does. Right. That's what I thought. So, okay. So let's play the end of the game. Let's role play the end of the game. We all know what happens. Helmet comes off. They want to do the 10-second runoff. Texas says no. Correct. We're all correct. And then Billy Napier calls a timeout. Right. Is that the best, Jake or Dudley? Is that the best game management at that point? Because I'm being told it is, and I just want some clarification. So I figure you guys are super smart.
Jake,
I think so. So.
I do too. Now, again, I'm not a rules expert, but I listened to them explain it after it was over with, and that made sense without making sense.
Yeah.
So what is it then? So the correct, Jake? The correct way to
if you take the 10-second runoff, then the clock is stopped and not till the next snap. If you don't, then the clock rolls as soon as you put the ball down.
And if Texas can say no, they don't want to do the runoff, and then what happens? Then it's the clock runs and the ball is spotted.
Was the way it's supposed to be adjudicated, as they say.
Okay. All right, Jake, looking around, and Dudley, bear with us. We had a little bit of traffic before we got going. But Jake, looking at the SEC, what did you see happening? Let's go back to who you predicted, because out for the record, I have Georgia and Alabama playing in Atlanta, Georgia winning. And I didn't buy the gloom and doom about Alabama after Florida State. And they're looking pretty good, but what do you think happens?
What I had happening is probably not going to happen. I had Texas and Georgia playing for the championship, and Texas does not look like that team, at least today. Now, I guess anything's possible. They could catch fire starting this weekend against Oklahoma. They better hope so. If not, Oklahoma has an opportunity to totally punt them right out of the college football playoff conversation. Today, how it looks, Georgia obviously is still, I think, there. Alabama is, we know, is there. You look at Texas A&M, they're there. Oklahoma's, in the conversation. So there's a lot of good, teams that are still in this conversation. And, we got to start asking ourselves questions. We were talking about this yesterday on my show is college football's, quasi upside down? I think it is. I mean, how good is Miami when you look at the national scene? I think they are really, really good. Now, will they Mario Cristobal themselves? Meaning Mario Cristobal has, he has gotten in the way just about every year and made a boneheaded coaching decision. So will that come into play? Texas A&M, are we really ready to say they're better than an 8-4 football team? Indiana, you can go around the country and play this game, but back to the SEC, I don't know that there's a dime's worth of difference in the top 5 or 6 teams. And at this point, I don't know who's going to be in Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you. I mean, my top 6 preseason were Georgia, Bama, A&M, Texas, Florida, and Oklahoma. And it's hard. And then my next group, I had LSU in there. Hell, LSU and Texas might be lucky to win 7 or 8 games. Neither one of them has an offense. And that's a tough thing. And then John Mateer plays in the indoor complex when it was sunny and 85 in Norman, Oklahoma Monday. Just come out and tell us he's going to play.
They're not gonna do that.
We've seen the Lonesome End play. I mean, come on. Like they're going to tell what's going to happen. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just – Jake, look.
That was awesome.
Yeah. we have the bear.
Family show, their dogs and cats living together, fire and brimstone falling from
orange
the sky.
juice.
Oh my God, Vince Ferrara is here. We're just gonna bring him in.
Yeah, and Jake, we'll keep you just another minute or a couple of minutes. We had a little bit of a late start, Vince. Appreciate it. I know Vince said, "Let me see if I can sneak downstairs without getting pulled into a meeting." Vince is here. The Bears.
I'm just
here.
gonna get a doorbell sound. Everyone just stops by. Ding dong, we're here.
Yeah, that's right. Jake, a couple of more things before you go. And I was on your show Friday. We were picking some games. I think we did. I had Vandy to cover, Bama to win, and then that late alumni score to make the line. That's just what it is. But Jake, your takeaways from what you've seen and what you think is going to happen this weekend. You're right. But you know what? A lot of people are going to be watching, and no one saw this one coming. Indiana at Oregon. That's going to be one of the biggest games in college football. So, Jake, your thoughts?
Yeah, look, we're going to find out what Indiana's about this weekend. I mean, look, Indiana's a really good football team. Could they make the college football playoff again? Absolutely, they could. I think they're running into a little bit of a buzzsaw. Me, from what we talk about here, I go straight to efficiency numbers, and Oregon has, as good of efficiency numbers offensively and defensively as anybody in the country, right there with Ohio State. But so does Indiana. I mean, Indiana's 16th in the country offensively, 4th defensively. You got to look at their schedule, though, not as strong as some of the others. So that'll be a fun ball game. We talked a little bit about LSU and South Carolina. Ole Miss gets back into action. This is one of those games that, we don't want to overlook. I mean, they should walk right past Washington State. But, if Ole Miss is going to stay in this conversation, especially, the college football playoff, they've got to continue to play well. And then, you look at some of the other games, the Texas-Oklahoma game. I tend to lean Oklahoma this weekend just a little bit just because of their defense. I know Texas plays good defense as well. But if John Mateer plays, I think he outplays probably Arch Manning unless – there is a coming to Jesus moment, so to speak, as well. So, there's a lot of good football to be played this weekend. And, hey, we're just halfway through this thing, and we'll see what happens.
I had a great quote.
I take no great pride in this, but at the start of before the season, I said that I'm just not all in on the Manning hype train. Let's see him do it first.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure he's going to be a really, really good quarterback down the line, but man, that dude had too much hype, too much pressure on him.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, Jake, before we go, I was listening to my friend Bill Cameron's show in the afternoon in Auburn last week. Dan Peck, love him, his co-host, said about Ole Miss struggling a couple of times every year with these teams that they should really beat easily. He calls it, you got to manage pest control. That's a great new term. We've got rat poison. Now we have pest control. Ole Miss, watch out for the Cougars. All we know is every good quarterback gets out of there. In Pullman. Seems like a nice place to be. I think they got really good hunting out there, so I wouldn't mind living in Pullman. It's where Keith Jackson, college football's legendary voice, went to Washington State on the GI Bill when he got out of the Army. So, Jake, look, what are y'all talking about this afternoon?
Hey, more of the same, just kind of getting ready for the weekend. Of course, high school football big. We'll start tucking into that. Mississippi junior college football, we're making the turn there. That's a big topic here in the state with a lot of great players. So we'll be all over the gridiron today.
All right, junior college. Next week we're talking about that. That's a great topic. Jake, take care. Thank you so much for your patience today. Vince Ferrara, the sports animal up in Knoxville, the checkerboard orange and white, Dudley Dawson inside Arkansas over in the northwest corner. I will get started. Like I said, had a lot of traffic this morning. We're heading to Atlanta tomorrow. I'm just getting traffic on my mind. 285. You could be there for days in that traffic. But and you know what? People bitch about the roads and the potholes in Atlanta. Okay, wait till they fix them. Then it's a real problem. I've gone through Atlanta at 3 o'clock in the morning on trips, and the traffic is at a standstill. Dudley, you got Bobby Petrino playing tennis, coaching for Arkansas. They're going to Knoxville. We got y'all this weekend. Last year, 14-10, Arkansas got the win in Fayetteville. What was it?
19-14.
19-14. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a hell of a game, back and forth. Great crowd. What happens? What's different that you're seeing from what you can see in practice since Bobby took over?
Well, I think there's certainly more discipline, more in-your-face moments. From what I understand, like you said, we don't really get to see practice now. But here's the thing I'll say. Last week, the circus or carnival was in town. Most of it has moved out now. There's a tilt-a-whirl left. There's a merry-go-round. There's a bearded lady still here.
Yeah, she's heading to Auburn, I think.
Yeah, but it is back to having football practice, pointing toward Tennessee. That obviously Tennessee's got a really good, maybe great football team. One loss, and I thought they had that one there for a minute. Yep. But I think everybody around here is just glad to be focusing on a game and focusing on, we've kind of even gotten away. Everybody knows that there are candidates out there, and whatever. Everybody knows that if Bobby Petrino wins enough games considered for the job. My understanding is how it's going now. He'll be considered for the job. It's not definite that he would get there, because there are a lot of people in this state of money who need fresh energy, need some excitement, be pissed when they lose, need to have an answer how they lost, need to be excited when they win. Basically, I think a version of Eric Musselman on the football field.
Yeah. Dudley, you may want to reboot. I think you're breaking up a little bit, but come back in. But I agree with you. The fan bases, Vince, have to get mad as hell. Apathy, you cannot grow. You can't win with apathy. When your fans get as mad losing in basketball as they do in football in the SEC, you see what happens. Look at Florida. Look at Auburn. Look at Alabama. Vince, Tennessee got a great road win at Mississippi State. They were off last weekend. Now, here comes Arkansas. This is a great chance at home to get a conference win. Joey Aguilar is one of the better stories in college football, and you were point on ahead of everybody talking about this guy and what he could bring to the table.
Well, great to be on with you guys. Been looking forward to this week with Dudley and I being together every week with you here on Sidelines. Yeah. And going back and forth on it. But Joey Aguilar has been the key to it all. There's been a lot of things that have changed, but that passing game that was such a big question with Aguilar, and then the receivers that were unproven. Here's what the wide receiver position has produced this year compared to last year. Yeah. The returning three receivers that had any sort of on-the-field experience, Brazel, Matthews, and Staley, who are their three starters this year. Last year, they combined for 39 catches. Through 5 games, they have 78 catches. Last year, the entire season, they had 444 receiving yards. Through 5 games, they have basically triple that, 1,223 yards. They had 4 touchdowns. This year, they have 11 through just 5 games. They're getting targeted a lot. They're staying healthy. They're blocking. They're catching jump balls. Their quarterback is giving them opportunities to make those 50-50 catches and make them 75-25. They're connecting on deep shots down the field. Not all of them. There have been some drops. I think 7 combined between all of them. But Brazel only has 1, and that was in the opener against Syracuse. I mean, he is in absolute beast mode right now where he feels like you throw him the ball in his general area, not only is he going to come down with it, but he's going to fight through pass interference, which he's done multiple times, stay on his feet, catch the ball, and then get in the end zone. So that passing game that was a question mark going in with Aguilar is now a strength of this football team. And then, obviously the coaching staff adjusting the offense too, to want to evolve. Yeah. They're looking more like the 2022 offense where they change formations. They'll go tight sometimes. They won't go tempo every down. Tennessee and Ole Miss have some parallels to them. I thought they did in 2022. And ever since then, both of them have kind of backed off of the tempo a little bit. They use it to their advantage. It's part of their arsenal, but it's not every down, every play. They're doing it to protect their defense. They're doing it to protect their offensive linemen as well, and to make sure that everyone knows where they're supposed to be with some young people on the field. So just this team has evolved and improved so much. And obviously they have some more tough games in front of them, including this one with a lot of unknowns, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Dudley, you're back inside Arkansas. You're there every day on the ground. We all know Arkansas can score points. What's being done to try to make the defense better, or just, if any improvement would be better than what we've seen so far?
Firing coaches, yelling, getting in people's faces, telling them you're gonna put out effort or you're not gonna get your check. I mean, you can't really do that, but I hear some of that. Coach Petrino has made it clear when the players started putting up emojis, when T. Will and Deke Adams and them were let go. He basically told them, it's, hey, this is a real business now. It's like the NFL. You can go out there and you can quit. You can get in the transfer portal per se. You can say you're not going to play, but how's the next team you want to go to going to view that? So I think he did a really good job drawing a line in the sand and saying you're either going to play or you're not. And if you don't play, ain't nobody going to want you. So I do think they are – I said this yesterday. I do think they are going to show up, play with a lot more energy, tackle the way you're supposed to tackle, and I still think that Tennessee is going to score 6 or 7 touchdowns.
Wow. What does the Bear think? The Bears on the screen. No, Dudley, I like Bobby Petrino. If he's going out there and telling those kids, how's the next school going to view you? That's the thing we've been trying to say on this show for a long time. Vince, you look at Joey Aguilar, Josh Heupel. How does he rank? Is he better? Can he be better than Hendon Hooker? Or, I mean, that's a tough, task.
Yeah, that's difficult. His numbers are outstanding. There's still some turnovers there. I think Hendon protected the ball a little bit better than Joey Aguilar. But the thing about Aguilar that so many of his teammates and coaches talk about is his blood pressure stays the same. Like, it doesn't elevate. Yeah. When he had those throws against those interceptions against Mississippi State, there were high throws, and one of them maybe had a little bit of too much juice on it. He took blame for that. He didn't, point the finger or so, what am I supposed to do, or have it impact any future plays. Those are things as a 24-year-old leader he took responsibility for, and he didn't have them lead to other bad plays. Just flush them, move forward, and he executed late in the game. So, let's see how there's more big stages. There's been really one marquee game that he's played in, and he was great in against Georgia overall. Let's stack some more of those and then see how the rest of the season plays out. But this team is in a one game at a time mentality, and because Arkansas won coming off of Tennessee's bye week last year, that's been a frequent reminder that the players have gotten from the the coaching staff that, and Heupel typically, historically, has been really good off of bye weeks, but last year they were not. And it didn't end up costing him a college football playoff, but it could have. And I think he expects his team to be different this time around. And then look, the lessons should be there with other interim situations and other what seem like train wreck situations around college football. You get kids and everyone motivated and pulling the same rope that you can have some drastic improvement in a one game situation.
And I know college football is a transient thing now, but I'm sure there's plenty of people left there that remember 1914 last year, and that was about as good as Arkansas played. Taylor Green didn't even finish the game. Malachi Singleton came in, led the touchdown drive. But I do think any chance that Arkansas had of surprising anybody went away last year during that game. Regardless of how bad they've been defensively. I think Tennessee, and listening to Coach Heupel this week, sounds like they're very focused on, number one, getting better themselves, and number two, being ready for anything that BP might throw out there.
Yeah. Look at this, Vince, these matchups. It's a line of scrimmage league. Who's got any depth? And what if Aguilar goes down? Who backs him up? Is Merklinger from Calvary Day School down in Savannah? Is he ready to step up? Who's backing up Taylor Green? I mean, we're everybody's pushing that starter, but who can name a backup on the depth chart?
Well, I think the depth is more at other positions because I think both teams want no part of the thought process of someone other than Aguilar and Taylor Green taking snaps. I think from a depth standpoint, a couple of things. The availability report for Tennessee has been as long as anyone in the league, and I know Arkansas has had their fair share too. But they're expected to get David Hobbs back, one of their better defensive tackles. If they do, it'll be the first time that Tennessee's had their entire D line available and playing in a game this year to have Rodney Garner's rotation. That has not been the case all year. They got Jackson Moy, starter, back last week. He worked off some rust. So you should be able to have your best front four that you've had all season in terms of health. And then when do they get Jermod McCoy back? It may not be this week. It's still unknown. We'll see where he's at in the availability report. But, man, when they get him back, the way Colton Hood's playing corner, he wasn't even supposed to start. It was supposed to be McCoy and Gibson as their starters. Gibson's out for an extended period of time. Whenever you get McCoy back, now you have a potential first-round corner in McCoy and another one that has worked his way into mock drafts in the first round in Colton Hood as your corners, with another one that is still out. So that they've been building depth because they've had some guys missing, and I think the line of scrimmage and that secondary are the ones where it showed out the most. And then real quick, David Sanders, an offensive tackle, 5-star. He came in late in that Mississippi State game, played pretty well overall. I think they're going to start him and then go with their original offensive line they were going to with him at right tackle. Perry moves back from right tackle to right guard. You move Wendell Moy, who I think is playing at an all SEC level, move him back from right guard to left guard, and then Umarov, who's done a nice job, be your sixth man. Then you've improved your depth on the offensive line with getting Sanders back as well, if they decide to do that.
I think that explanation just made a lot of Arkansas fans go, what the Tennessee's about to get better, with people coming back. As far as a backup quarterback for Arkansas, they've now had a KJ ready to play quarterback as a starter or backup for 7 years now. This one is KJ Jackson. He's a left-hander. He's performed very well in his few mop-up snaps, but we don't really know, what they've got. He's working under a really good quarterback coach, and, you hear great things about him, but nobody wants to find out what Tennessee is going to do with that superstar Joey Aguilar, and nobody wants to find out what Arkansas is going to do without Taylor Green, except the parents of those two guys.
And Colton Hood, he started out, I know, at Auburn.
Right.
And his uncle, Roderick Hood, played for Auburn, hell of a defensive back, played in the NFL. All right, let's start looking around college football right now in the SEC. ACC, American Conference. There's some pretty damn good football being played, and it's the coaches that can evaluate. And you got coaches like John Summerall at Tulane, Ryan Silverfield at Memphis. I mean, the Alex Golish at USF.
Rhett Lashley at SMU.
Yeah, I was going to say Rhett Lashley at SMU, who's in the ACC but doesn't get any money. Notre Dame is ACC light in football and basketball, whatever. ACC light, that's the correct term. What do y'all think right now? 3 of the top 4 teams in the preseason rankings are not even ranked anymore. Have you seen a season like this? Either one of y'all want to start to compare?
I go back to the transient nature. You can get really good really quick. You also can get really bad really quick. Arkansas did not spend enough of its NIL money on defense. And you can see exactly what happened. The offensive line's better. You got running backs. You got pass catchers. You got a quarterback. But you didn't spend enough money on the edge rushers. You didn't spend enough money on the linebackers. And sure as heck didn't spend enough money on the secondary. And that's why Arkansas's defense is not as good this year. It's not because T. Will became a bad coach all of a sudden.
Correct. That's what I told someone. I said, I think what happened was once Bobby Petrino got there, every time money was brought up or a thing was brought up, offense got it first. I mean, he had a reason to be there. Mm-hmm. And the defense, sadly, got the scraps from Longshank's table. I mean, I'm being completely transparent what I think happened in Dudley back. That's what I was going to say. Because Travis Williams and Adams and Marcus Woodson did not forget how to coach. Vince, your thoughts on the question that I asked to Dudley before I drove us off the road?
No, you're good. I think it is how transient and fluid rosters are, the turnover. Sometimes the chemistry works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it works with some guys, but not for other guys. So it's kind of a mixed bag, and then you get a meh in between results. But what's Texas's excuse? I mean, they had a turnover at quarterback, but it's not like they're so portal heavy, incoming or outgoing. So something different there. I think it's a lot of different reasons, but I think the focus of players is less today in locking in on what they need to do. There's so many things in the minds. And players are pulled in so many different directions that it's really easy for guys to get off what their focus needs to be in getting better. There's still plenty of great student athletes that do the right things, that are locked in and don't let those distractions impact them as football players. But just in today's just the world and how kids and young people are made up, I think is easy for them to get off base, and then that's how you get more of the up and down type of performances from week to week.
And I'll sound like an old guy that says, "You kids get out of my yard." But loyalty has gone out of college football. It's playing for your next stop. It's playing for your next contract. I'm trying to adapt, and I do enjoy the Saturdays when you actually watch football and you don't have to worry about the business of college sports. Mm-hmm. But I've got a story coming out for Best of Arkansas Sports, which is another entity that I work for that to put more money into the wedding we're going to have next year. But the part of it is there's a simple thing. Arkansas is not a national school. It's not a national recruiting school in football. You've got to recruit the best players in your state. You got four out of the top 15 committed in Arkansas here. That's part of the thing. It also goes into you deciding to let a coach go in midseason. It just wasn't working. And Missouri has as many Arkansas players, Arkansas high school players coming into their program or in their program than Arkansas does. And that's it's not supposed to work. And there had to be a change. Everybody knows Coach Pittman, great guy, going to be down Hot Springs, drinking a cold beer, enjoying life. And the $39.6 million he made while he was coach here, nobody should feel sorry for him. You got to do what you want to do. But it is just right here that you had to make a decision, or the mad people were going to turn into the apathetic people.
Yeah, and I think you're right about how much are these kids affected by a loss? Vince, part of getting better is getting so mad after a loss, you go work harder. And that's what we better be careful of, the lack of focus and worrying about, a kid being late for practice because he had a photo shoot for an NIL sponsor that he's got. I mean, coaches, but I will say this. If you think you can't coach kids hard today like you used to, you're an idiot. You are an absolute fool. I came up in the bond business, man. Listen, push-ups on the trading floor, getting shoot. It was good for us. It creates a sense of urgency. Vince, there's going to be 105,000 people at Neyland Stadium Saturday when Arkansas comes up. It doesn't matter what Arkansas's record is. Those fans are there to see Tennessee play. That's when you know your program is right. Same thing at Arkansas. You pick the school. So, the expectation, Josh Heupel as a coach, the Vol fans are happy with him, aren't they?
They are. Yeah, I think it's impressive. His evolution as a coach. You mentioned some of the changes after the playoff game last year. He looked in the mirror, the coach talked about it and said, we have to evolve. And so they've adapted to today, to people adjusting to their tempo offense. He's adjusted to his players. We even heard Chop Harbin, Lavorne Harbin, their outside linebackers coach, say that they even tweak some of the defensive technique, tackling and what they did fundamentally to their players and what their strengths are. So you have to be able to adapt. But fans are happy with Josh Heupel. You want to avoid these loss in this kind of game, though, because that's where the criticism has been from time to time. Is there's been some of the losses to teams on paper that they were supposed to beat. So takes care of that. Maybe gets back in the playoffs, and it'll be another contract extension for him.
Yeah. All right, Dudley, give me a score. What do you think happens? You said a minute ago, but
I'm on record already, 45-24 Tennessee. And as I said, I think Arkansas's defense is going to play better because you can't play worse.
Yeah.
The effort, you look at the tape, you can look at it live and see it, but then you look at the tape and it was even worse. But I just think Tennessee's too good offensively with the what was it Coach Pittman used back in the day, the blue light special that they're using here on defense now, as opposed to the Louis Vuitton that he said Ole Miss's offense had. So I think people will see some better things and about the future. But if Tennessee, if Arkansas goes to Tennessee and beats Tennessee, then I'll probably be covering a contract extension of my own on Monday.
Yeah. All right, Vince, do y'all ever take calls on your morning show from listeners?
A few. We do more text line
okay.
than we do calls, but we do get feedback for sure.
Yeah. All right. So then I just think about Roan Mountain up in on the North Carolina, isn't that on the North Carolina border up there in the mountains? Sonny Smith, Auburn's basketball coach for a long time, said he used to lay there in bed and look out the mountains through the windows. He could see North Carolina. And you think about these fans that are coming to the games, the interest, like Dudley says, on game day, everything's good. You're thinking about football. What is a story or two going on at Tennessee that the masses need to know about that you're covering? And I'm going to throw that back to Dudley, and then we'll wrap it up.
Well, I think the biggest thing that fans are thinking about is, and I think I've said this before, is the availability of some of their players. Jermod McCoy. Is Jermod McCoy ready to go, but has any hesitation from anyone on the outside because he's a potential first-round pick? It's something you have to think about, that you wonder how much those guys are thinking about that. Should I come back? When should I come back? Am I going to put my NFL career at risk if I come back? It sounds like to me that he wants to come back, but it might be a little bit more complicated than just being medically cleared. So the availability of players is something that continues to be a storyline for Tennessee.
Dudley, same thing.
Two things here in Arkansas. Number one is enjoy the rest of the week. Look for something to get better on Saturday. Don't go in thinking you're going to win the football game as a fan. It's great if you think that. Also, my other thing, and I'm not trying to be funny on this, we're having a lot of bear attacks here in Arkansas. And
Yeah.
I mean, every day we've got, somebody getting hurt or whatever. People quit going to the Bears place, quit going to them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, let's be smart around here.
Oh, I remember as a kid being up in the Smokies, and Dad and I were up there, and I got out to put something in a trash can, and he goes, "Boy, look over there. There was a mother bear with 2 cubs." He goes, "Why don't you just walk on back slowly, but don't turn your back to them?" But you're right. You're on their turf, man. I mean, that's yeah.
Sorry, right. If any Arkansas fans are traveling to the game and they want to venture out and look for bears, they can find them.
Yeah.
See how that works for you in enemy territory, bears.
Yeah.
It's bad enough when you're got the local bears.
And what we've got in Arkansas and all these river bottoms, we have panthers. I mean, they're here, and they love eating deer. And I know what a panther track looks like. It's about the size of, it's big. So anyway, yeah, you're right. Public service announcement here from Ranger Rick and Smokey the Bear. Only you can prevent forest fires. I do have a Smokey the Bear shirt. And Roman Harper, by the way, on Read and React the other night with Cole Kubelik, SEC Network, was wearing a Smokey the Bear hoodie. I love it, man. Nice. Look, these are 2 of the best guys out there. Can't get any better. And, man, Dudley Dawson, Inside Arkansas, Vince Ferrara, the sports animal in Knoxville. Nobody covers it. We cover college football and sports in the South like Kudzu and Cotton and the Bear. That's right. Speaking of Bears, he's here, man. We'll see y'all again next week.
We got Frank Bulldog over here too. He's doing good as a producer.
Is it Frank the Bulldog?
No. His name is Tatum. Guess who he's named after?
Tatum O'Neal?
Nah, Jason Tatum.
Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, they start preseason tonight. They start real NHL games.
That's right. All right. Y'all be good. We'll do it again next week. Thanks so much for your time. All right. Let's say something about sponsors, man. Landers Ford at Poplar and Houston Levy, where Germantown and Collierville come together. Blessed to have them as a sponsor. Brad Bellamy, the general manager out there. Don't get all worked up. It's not the doing in life that's so bad or tough. It's the dreading. Just call and ask, say, Brad Bellamy, Rob Browne on Sidelines, and Brendan Martin said, you're the man. They're open every day of the week, Monday through Saturday, except Sunday. They're open 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Service department will pick you up, provide a round-trip transportation. $500 off for SEC Sidelines audience members. Number 1 Ford dealership in the Mid-South. Demo priced at X-Plan pricing. Still got some of the vehicles left from the golf tournament, the Broncos, the Expeditions. They're like top 5 in the country selling Expeditions. They've got a huge lot, Poplar and Houston Levy. Their names all over the Mid-South, Rossville, Collierville, Houston High School, Tom Nick Stadium, Landers Field. Folks, they put back, and I saw the Landers folks supporting Le Bonheur Monday night at the Touchdown Club. You got to love them. Right down the street from Hewlett and Dunn Boot and Clothing Company on the historic square in Collierville, Tennessee. Go get a new truck and drive over to Hewlett and Dunn and get outfitted, get some great boots. Got a huge selection. They also have great Amish-made leather belts. They have so many great leather goods in there. The hats, man, the hats, the Wrangler, the Ariat jeans, Duckhead, everything. I've never seen Duckhead, blazers, canvas jackets, polos, quarter zips, pullovers. They've got everything. Ginormous inventory at hewlettanddunn.com. Filson luggage, the Barber boots. They've got women's rain boots that look like $1 million. And ask for Raven Carpenter, Lydia, J.M. Huffman, Charles Hall and his wife, Laura. You can't get better people than them. If it can help Collierville, Memphis, the Mid-South, Charles and Laura and Hewlett and Dunn are behind it. I love these people. Get out there and see them. Rumble Boxing, how you fight is how you live. Classes every day of the week, opening at 5 and 5:30 in the morning. Union and McLean in Midtown Memphis. Get in the best shape of your life. 45-minute sessions. They are tough. You will be better for it. And also, the Pro Athletes Hemp Association, our good friend Dave Bartu, Lights Out Gummies, 25% off. They've got energy, chill, and lights out. When it's time to go to bed, take one of those. You will sleep a good 7-8 hours. Ask Mike Singletary. Ask Harry Carson. These guys use them. Dave, look, proud to have all these sponsors as we continue to grow this show. Most often we see the face of Christ in the least among us. For executive producer Brendan Martin, thanks for a great job. To all of you watching, thank you more than you know. Stay tuned to this channel, and we'll be back on here throughout the day and the night with more shows. Until tomorrow, have a great day, everybody. Man.